Hello, welcome back to the start of another weekly vlog. It is Saturday evening and we are headed to go see a show. We're headed to go see Kiss Me Kate, which I've actually never seen live, neither has Sam. It's actually closing tomorrow though, so I will tell you how it is, but it is not available for you to go see. We're also really excited because someone that Sam grew up with is actually in the show, like a lead in the show. Her name is Stephanie Stiles. You can Google her. She has like a Wikipedia page and everything because she's that big of a deal. But Sam was close with the family. The whole family is in the business. Good morning, happy Pride. It is Sunday. The show was awesome last night. It's unfortunate that it's closing, so I can't be like, go see the show, because you can't. But it was really fun to see Sam's like childhood friend, and her parents were there too. I guess we should have expected that, like for closing weekend, that her parents were gonna come support her, so we got to chat with them. There are actually a lot of people. She had like a whole entourage come back after the show.
Including her younger brother's fiance.
Oh yeah, her younger brother's fiance, who she's the maid of honor in their wedding. Like, it was the whole, and then some other kid that she was in a show with, and his whole family. Like, it was awesome. She was.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah, her friend who was Gloria Estefan and On Your Feet came back, so we got to meet her. That was cool.
I didn't really meet her.
I mean,
we were next to her. Don't worry,
we were next to her. We chatted with her, and she's gonna be in a TV show. So now we are headed to brunch with some friends that Sam, you met them through the JCC?
I met them through a Jewish networking event, and then we became friends, and then I invited them to the JCC.
Okay, because I met them at the JCC. Yes, now we're going to, but then it's actually like a super small world. So Sam went out to, it was her birthday party that you went out to at their house in Jersey?
Yes.
And then a guy that I work with who was on the same group as me in my leadership program from last year was there because his wife is like super good friends with her. Like,
and it's thanks to our friend, my friend's fiance who we're seeing. She's the one that put Laken's friend in touch with.
Oh, she set them up.
Yes.
Yeah. The couple the guy I work with, that couple, she set them up. It's just it was such a small world moment when I didn't go out to the party because I had other plans. And don't look at me like that. The Cowboys were in the playoffs. Okay, the Cowboys never make the playoffs.
And they had a TV with the Cowboys playing. So.
Still holds it over me. Anyways, so it was just ironic. Sam walked into this party and the guy I work with, Craig, was there with his wife. So now we're heading to brunch with them, and then we're gonna go catch the Pride Parade. We haven't exactly decided where we're gonna go stand. They changed the route from prior years. Normally it starts a little bit further up and then ends down in like the West Village where Stonewall Inn is. But this year they're doing this like weird U-shaped thing, so it doesn't start as high up, and then it hits down by Stonewall and then it curves back up, basically making a U-shape. So I don't know, we haven't decided where we're gonna go watch and see if we have any other friends that we're gonna try and meet up with. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous day outside. Perfect day for Pride, and I'm excited to bring you along. So happy Monday. I have a productivity tip for you. Time management productivity is not a budget tip though. It's like the opposite of a budget tip. So when I have plans after work, most of the time it does not make sense for me to go all the way home and then go back to wherever I'm going. Like the majority of the time, my office is closer to wherever I'm going. So step one is I don't plan to go home first. Like even if I have time, like I have time to go home first and drop off my backpack, but then I'm spending an hour total commuting instead of actually like doing something productive. So then sometimes I will just stay at my office and do something at my office and then go to wherever I'm going. But the truth is, I don't like being late. I don't know if you're like that. I'm actually already where I need to be. So anyways, I don't like being late, and so I will always leave extra time, and then sometimes I'll get there, you know, maybe 10 minutes early or whatever. But especially in New York, you never know how the trains are gonna work, and so I always leave extra time to get wherever I'm going. So what I have found is much more productive is if I leave as soon as I'm done with work and I go somewhere close by, like within a couple minute walking distance of the place that I'm going, I'm so much more productive because then I can work right up till the last second and then just walk to wherever I'm going. So like I said, this is not necessarily a budget tip because it does always end up in me buying either a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, usually if it's at night, or a drink, because I'm not the kind of person that just goes and sits somewhere and doesn't buy something. I mean, I know people do that, and if you're comfortable with that, like more power to you. But if I'm gonna sit in a coffee shop even for an hour, or I'm gonna sit at a bar and like our reservation isn't for an hour, like I always feel like I need to purchase something. And so I will go somewhere and be productive until it's time. So tonight we're meeting Sam's parents for dinner. We're meeting at 7, and it was actually the total opposite direction of home. And so then I was like, all right, let me find a coffee shop nearby and I'll sit and I'll edit until it's time to go in. And then I was like, you know what? It's Monday, but it's kind of a Wednesday, and it's at an Italian restaurant that has a good happy hour. So I'm actually gonna go into the restaurant early and get a glass of wine. I'm gonna sit at their bar and I'm gonna edit, have a glass of wine until it's time for dinner. I have a story for you. So I am outside my office building, secretly hoping nobody I work with walks by, or if they do, they ignore me and don't acknowledge that I'm standing here filming. I wanted to stop and tell you the story because I cannot walk and talk because I've got a suitcase. And if you watch my plan with me, you're probably like, why do you have a suitcase? Like, and you didn't say you're going anywhere. You said you had no 4th of July plans. Like, why do you have a suitcase? And I wanted to share the story with you yesterday when I got home, but I couldn't, and I'll get into why in a little bit. So let me rewind back. I mean, the beginning of the story starts, it feels like months ago. I don't know how long it really was, when Sam's parents said that they were coming to New York for the 4th. And I was like, great, they're coming to New York for the 4th, cool. And then Sam started having me put things in my planner. It was like, first it was Sunday, we were gonna hang out with them Sunday, we were gonna go to a museum, and then it was Monday, we were gonna do dinner. And so in my head I was like, well, they're gonna be here the whole week, right? If we have plans Sunday and then Monday, like not the following Monday, like yesterday Monday, and then this upcoming Sunday, I was like, they're gonna be here the whole week. And then he had me put plans with his mom on Saturday, which was also confusing, but his mom's also gonna be here, but just for a day. That is not really relevant to the story. Either way, I thought that we would end up having plans with them for the 4th. And maybe like a week or two ago, when I asked him about this, come to find out they're actually going to the Hamptons for the actual like 4th with their friends. So we didn't have any plans for the 4th, which was fine. We'll figure something out, not a big deal. So the other piece of the story is that my family goes to Delaware every summer for vacation. If you've been around, I vlogged it last year, I posted it on Instagram for years, like it is a family tradition. But the past couple of years since I've become an adult, it has been on my own dime, as well as 5 full vacation days because it's a whole week in the summer. And as much as I love my family, and I do, this year it wasn't gonna work out. the cost of getting down there. I have to rent a car for a whole week and chipping in for the condo and food and the tolls, and it's not an inexpensive trip, and a whole week of vacation with our trip to India and Dubai. It didn't make sense. I explained that to my family. They understood. I am obviously bummed. Like, I'm gonna miss going on that vacation. I'm gonna miss seeing my family, especially my immediate family, my parents, my brothers. Like, that sucks. So anyway, those are the two pieces of background information you need to know. So fast forward to Monday night, and we're supposed to have dinner with Sam's parents. I got to the restaurant early and was editing at the bar. You saw that. And my dad calls, and I almost didn't answer because I was sitting at the restaurant bar, but other people were talking and it was fairly loud. So I was like, well, whatever. We're switching arms because my hand is tired. So I answer the phone, and my dad's like, hey, how's it going? What's up? And I was like, oh, I'm meeting Sam's parents for dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, we got into chatting, and I was telling him the Hampton story and how we weren't actually spending the 4th with them. And he goes, oh, it's too bad you couldn't come meet us in Annapolis. And I was like, what? You're gonna be in Annapolis for the 4th? So normally they fly into Baltimore like the Saturday before and drive down to Delaware. And he goes, yeah, we decided to fly in on Wednesday and spend a couple days in Annapolis before we drive down to Delaware. And I was like, well, why didn't you tell me? And he goes, well, I just kind of assumed you had plans for the 4th, and also, like, if you can't come to the beach, like, I didn't know how you would be able to come there. And I was like, well, Dad, that's two very different things, because the 4th is not a vacation day. Like, I have the 4th and the 5th off of work. Also, there's a bus that gets down to Annapolis, or even a train into Baltimore, and then a Uber to Annapolis, or not, that's kind of far, but regardless, there is no public transportation for me to get to Delaware, which is why I have to rent a car and drive, and it's so expensive. But I was like, Dad, a bus is not expensive. And I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe you didn't tell me this. He was like, well, I mean, I guess you could come. And I was like, are you being serious? And he was like, well, yeah, why not? Like, check the bus tickets. I checked the bus tickets. Obviously at this point they're a little bit more expensive, but still like a 1/10 of the price of renting a car. And he was like, yeah, you'd have to share a hotel room with your little brothers, but like, if you're willing to do that and they're willing to share, I was like, come on. He was like, yeah, sure. All right, switching back to my right arm. So I booked a bus ticket, and now I'm spending 3 days in Annapolis with my parents. It's about a 4-hour bus ride. Obviously a train would have been faster, but again, the train only goes into Baltimore, so having to get down to Annapolis would have been an effort. If I had planned this further in advance, I could have trained into the airport and then driven with them from the airport down to Annapolis, but regardless, it worked out, and I'm excited to see my family. I've never been to Annapolis. Now I have plans for the 4th. Sam is not going with us because he has to work. He was already treating Friday like a work day, so he has a couple of appointments already scheduled for Friday, and today, this evening, like, I'm leaving now. It's the afternoon, and he couldn't leave this early, so it didn't really make sense. Plus, there really wasn't space for him. It's one thing for me to squish myself into the hotel room with my brothers. If Sam came, it would have been a little bit different. We probably would have had to get our own room, and that, of course, adds an extra cost. So regardless, it worked out. I'm excited. We got an early dismissal from work, which we usually get on the day before a holiday. So I have a little bit of time. So it's 3 o'clock now. My bus is at 4:30. I do want to be at the bus stop at 4:15, so I'm ready to go. So I have about an hour. It could take me 20 minutes on a subway or a half-hour walk, and I'm like, it is nice out for 10 extra minutes and like getting my steps in. Goals video, if you watch my goals video, getting 10,000 steps is a goal this month. So I'm gonna walk at a leisurely pace, play Harry Potter, and make my way over to the bus station. I'm excited to bring you to Annapolis. Hopefully, we are doing some fun things. I know tomorrow we're doing a walking tour of the Naval Academy. So we're staying like on the water. My stepmom travels a lot for work, so she's got a zillions of points. So we're staying at a Marriott on the water. And tomorrow we're doing a walking tour of the Naval Academy that's right there. We're going to some parade and then fireworks. It's the 4th of July. And then Friday we're going sailing, which if you are a Friends fan, she sent me like the waiver that you have to print out and sign, and then like a skills assessment. Like you have to fill out a Google Doc that assesses your sailing skills. And almost every question I was like, I don't know what that is, I don't know what that is, I don't know what that is. And all I could think of was Joey, and I was like, oh, I know nothing about sailing. I'm gonna be so confused, and let's just hope that the instructor is nicer than Rachel was. Green zone quit. Oh, I love that episode. Anyways, maybe I have to watch that on the bus to get me excited. Maybe I'll make, what else is in that episode? Like, is that kid appropriate? Like, could my brothers watch it? I might watch it on the bus and see if I can have them watch it, and then of course get my parents' approval. But like, the 14-year-old totally fine, but I don't know about the 10-year-old. Okay, I'm in a less crowded part of town now. I'm on like a side street. So I'm gonna try and chat while pulling my suitcase, because I have two things. One, I forgot to tell you why we didn't chat yesterday. So on the plan with me, I originally had planned to go to Jenny Craig or Trader Joe's like I normally do on Tuesdays, come home, take my bubble bath. Because even though I had Thursday and Friday off, I didn't have any plans. It was almost like just an extra weekend. I didn't need to prepare for anything special. But when the plans changed, I had to change Tuesday's plans too. So instead, I didn't need to go to Trader Joe's and Jenny Craig anymore. Well, Sam was kind of upset I didn't go to Trader Joe's because he was like, I need groceries. And I was like, well, sorry, Trader Joe's I go there because it's by the Jenny Craig. I don't need to go to Jenny Craig if I'm going out of town. So I did end up running 2 errands that I had planned to do on Wednesday, picking up a prescription and then getting some more food for Charlie. And then of course I had to pack, and I had to update my planner to change that. You know, redid my to-do list. I was planning my evening, and then on my way home, Sam told me he wasn't feeling well and he was gonna come home and like lay down. So I ended up having to take care of him a little bit, and I wasn't gonna vlog while he was homesick. Like, I just didn't feel like that was fair. The other thing I wanted to tell you was I just saw somebody famous. I feel like people ask me that all the time in New York, do you see famous people? And I think the truth is, I think you see them more often than not, and I just don't recognize them, like, cause you're just out in like the normal world. But this one, I recognized his voice. So he was like coming up behind me, like to pass me on the sidewalk, because I was walking slowly playing Harry Potter. And I knew his voice the second I heard him talk. It was Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser. And then of course I like looked and I was like, and I wanted to stop him. I feel like that's one of those things. All right, my arm's getting tired. Let me just switch arms. I feel like that's one of those things, like I wanted to stop and ask him for a picture because I freaking love The Biggest Loser, although he looks so different now. But I didn't, because I chickened out. I was like, again, he's going about his normal life. Like, he's not walking down 23rd Street hoping that someone's gonna stop him for a picture. He's just like, he's on his way, and he was with a friend who isn't alone, and I was like, I'm not gonna stop and ask this guy for a picture, even though I really wanted to, because I used to love The Biggest Loser. I think the concept of it, sometimes I regret being so obsessed with it, because I think it probably didn't help my unhealthy relationship with food that I already had, my unhealthy relationship with like losing weight that I already had, but I did love it. While we're on the topic though, I will tell you the only celebrity in New York that I've stopped and asked for a picture with was Rupert Grint from Harry Potter.
Tour guide for about the next hour and 15, hour and a half or so, depending on how many questions you have, how many sea stories I tell, and how quick we walk. I am a Naval Academy graduate. I graduated here in 1967. I retired from the Navy in 1999, and I was a naval aviator. So come here, you go for you enroll as a midshipman, you spend 4 years here, you leave with a Bachelor of Science degree, and you're commissioned either an ensign in the Navy or a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. And you have a 5-year active duty obligation in the service.
Do you select your course, or?
Plebe year, it's a core curriculum, basic courses. You can choose a major as you start your second year. We offer 26 majors here. The only real requirement is 65% of every class has to have a technical major. That has never been a problem. Over here we have Bill the Goat. Not the best aspect of Bill, but if we were out in the sun, it's just a little warmer. Anyhow, Bill the Goat is our mascot. He's very important to us. 1845 the school opens. 1890 we make our first trip up to play Army in football. Navy marches through the town of Highland Falls. They go by a farm. They borrow a goat to take to the game. We win the game 24-0. We kept the goat. If you play a varsity sport at Navy, as with any college, you're going to get a letter. You get an N. If you play a varsity sport that beats Army, and if you can see the blanket on that goat, you get an N star.
and star in a sport to beat Army. Top of that flagpole is an N-Star flag. The pennants coming down the side, the gold pennants represent women's sports victories over Army in the last academic year. The blue pennants represent men's sports victories over Army. David graduated in 1987. The biggest thing about David entered here at 6'6". David was 6'6" at the end of his second year. In his last 2 years, David grew from 6'6" to 7'1". He was too big for any airplane, ship, submarine we had. He became a civil engineer officer, spent a couple of years. The Navy released him to go out and do reserve duty and kind of being a recruiter. David's a real friend.
So if he had applied at 7'1", would he not have been accepted because he was too tall?
6'4" was the max when he came. He was 6'6", he got a waiver. He wouldn't have gotten a waiver at 7'1".
Interesting.
That's a little, now the max is 6'8".
Okay.
But waivers over and under. I mean, there are a number of female gymnasts running around who are 4'11", say, but they've got good records and we want them here. And Roger Staubach, who graduated in 65, Roger won the Heisman Trophy in 63. We were number 2 team in the country.
Go Cowboys.
And in fact, Roger is my favorite guy in here because Roger was 2 years ahead of me. And the year Roger won the Heisman Trophy, I was a plebe. And when the football team does well, the plebes get laxity of rules and regulations. Roger is my hero.
So I ended up making it in last night at like 1 by the time I got back to the hotel. But it was nice, I slept in. Yes, I was very upset that nobody was awake to welcome me home. I had intentions of getting up and going to the gym at the hotel this morning, but instead I slept in since I didn't go to bed till 1:30. So we got up and we just got done doing a tour of the Naval Academy, which you saw, which was really cool. What was your favorite part?
In the air conditioning building, looking at all the commanders.
The air conditioning was his favorite part, obviously. It's very hot.
Come on.
That is exactly what we want.
Math news.
Yes.
Did they say we love math?
Yes. Me too.
Full color.
Full working. So the camera stopped working for a little bit. It was really like fuzzy on the screen. Could not, thought it was just dirty. Tried to clean it off, didn't work. But we got it to work with the help of my lovely grandfather. Although I don't even think we actually did anything. We just like clicked some buttons and it eventually worked. But now it's beautiful. We are currently at the J World Sailing School. We're going to go sailing. There are 8 of us total, and they said, so we're gonna do 4 per boat. So I am with my dad and these 2 goons, the twins, and then my stepmom and her parents and my oldest brother will be on another boat, and then we'll have an instructor because we don't know what we're doing.
Your boat could be heading like that. Your boat could be heading like that, like that, like that. There's a whole infinite range of headings. But guess what we've left out right now?
Direction.
There's no wind direction.
Rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong here, but then I've been there before. Everything's alright. I just say goodnight and show myself to the door. Hey, I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just give me an hour and then we'll all be as high as that ivory tower that you're living in. It's 10:40 on a Friday. The regular crowd shuffles in. I was guessing there's an old man sitting next to me, and he loves to his tonic and gin. Yeah. May freedom forever fly. Let it rain. Salute the ones who die, the ones who give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice the things we love, like our dreams.
Good morning. Normally I close out these weekly vlogs on Friday night, but I just was having too much fun with my family. So after sailing, we ended up going to dinner at this really cute place that was like in not somebody's house, but like they turned a cute little house into a restaurant, which was really cool. And so we just like enjoyed a nice dinner. We didn't rush through it. And it was family style, so we ordered a bunch of dishes. It was so cool. And then afterwards, I like half joked at my dad that I'd seen a piano bar when we were like walking around the little square in Annapolis. I made a comment joking wise, and then of course he was like, no, let's go to the piano bar. And so just me and my dad went and had some daddy-daughter time at the piano bar down in Annapolis, which was fun. So I stayed up later than I thought I would for a 6:15 bus. I just grabbed some food at Starbucks, not even coffee because I want to sleep on the bus. But Starbucks was the only thing that was open at 5:45 at this little town of Annapolis. So I walked down here, it wasn't far from our hotel, grabbed some snacks and some water, and now I'm waiting for my Uber back to the bus stop. I'm so glad that I decided to impromptu take a bus down here to Annapolis. It was so nice to see my family, even though it felt like a really quick 48 hours. We did a lot, and just, again, building these memories with my family is so, it was worth, like, I also realized I didn't tell you the whole saga of Wednesday night. In a clip from Thursday, I made a comment about not getting home till 1 a.m. and then I realized I talked about it on Instagram, so you may have seen it on Instagram, but my bus getting out of New York to get here left New York at 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, and it was supposed to get here at 9. And at first it was delayed because there was traffic in New York City. The Lincoln Tunnel was closed due to an accident, so it took us, like, we didn't even leave New York until like 8 p.m. We literally like drove through the city for 2.5 hours. And then we almost make it to Maryland, and we pull over at a rest stop because the driver hit his max hours, and like, I respect that, but then Megabus, it didn't have a driver ready to go. So instead of just like a quick rest stop, like turn it over, we waited at the rest stop for like an hour and a half for another driver to show up. And so then we didn't get back on the road again until like 11:30, and I didn't get back to the hotel until just after 1. So that was the Wednesday night bus saga. I was so grouchy and frustrated, but again, totally worth it. That, and then getting up super early today to leave, totally worth it for the time with my family. And now I'm headed home, and we're spending the day with Sam's family. So I'm gonna close out this weekly vlog here. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. Is there a Jewish parade? Is that what you just asked? I don't know.
I have a lot of Jewish holidays.
You already have a lot of holidays, that's true. And then Sam sort of started making me not making me. And then Sam sort of, it didn't work. Just knocked using my suitcase. I was resting on my suitcase. And I knocked it down. What do you want to say?
Where's Santa?